This podcast contains adult content and themes. For a full list of our content warnings, please see our show notes. Listener discretion is advised.
When your fears have taken their toll, when the demons have got out control, when the shadows just won't leave you alone, I'll be there. When your rainbows have turned into black, when the sun has turned its back, when all of your power let itself dry, I'll be
Welcome, my dear traveler, to the Morbid Forest. Come out, wherever you are. I see you. Why, hello there, my tiny travelers. Seems you have come to me a tad bit early, but the Morbid Forest is home to all travelers, big or small, young and old. Come now, take my hand. We have a long trail ahead of us. Never heard of that TV show before, but I'm sure we can find you something just as entertaining as Traci Halloween.
My name is Kasey. I'm a normal girl, struggling with making money after COVID, like most. I'm recording this in hopes that nobody else watches these tapes. I'll start at the beginning. In my job search, I bounced between a few money-making opportunities allowed during the pandemic. I tried YouTube, Twitch, gaming, and movie reviews, etc. Typical 2002 shit. Nothing stuck, despite my efforts. It was exhausting and beyond frustrating. Just when my self-loathing had reached its peak, I received a DM on Instagram out of nowhere. It reads as follows. Dear Kasey, I know times are hard, but would you like to make $5,000 participating in a solo kids show focus group? Due to COVID restrictions, you will be our only participant. If we find we are a good fit, we may be interested in offering you more focus group opportunities in the future. Please reply if interested. Hope to hear from you, Annalise. I was going to ignore it. God, I wish I had just deleted the message and blocked Annalise. But $5,000 was a lot of money. Plus, there was the chance I'd be hired again. Who in their right mind wouldn't turn down such a tempting offer? So I messaged back with a yes. I supplied her with all the necessary information and then waited for details about my new job. A few days later, I thought I'd been scammed. I was worried I handed out my personal information and Annalise was selling it on the dark web to the highest bidder. I checked my bank account constantly, but it still had the same $15 as all the times before. My trepidation when my phone pinged with a message from Annalise, the relief I felt threatened to buckle my knees. She sent a car to pick me up, and it was waiting for me outside. I didn't think. I just grabbed a jacket, locked up my apartment, and got in the waiting black sedan. We drove for what seemed like hours, but perhaps it was just the fact the car ride was oddly silent. The driver didn't speak to me, nor did he play music. Odd, but not unheard of. We finally pulled up to a small, run-down abandoned factory. The driver hustled me from the vehicle, ushering me inside with so much haste I didn't have time to reconsider going inside. Uneasy ran through every nerve as we crossed into the interior of the building. My trepidation was slightly erased at the sight of a petite woman standing just inside the opening of the building. A small table with one chair was positioned to her left. A TV and VCR, along with an assortment of snacks and bottled drinks, sat on top of the table. Her smile was infectious, scrubbing the thought of the disgusting building from my mind. Maybe they are remodeling? She motioned for me to sit, her smile never dipping.
Welcome, Kasey. Apologies for our current office space. We are currently between offices. Are you ready?
Yes, I said after a pause.
Good. Now, all we need you to do is watch these 6 tapes. And after all 6, we want you to write down how the tapes made you feel. It is important that you watch all the tapes before sharing your opinion. Understand?
I nodded as she placed a notepad and pen on the table next to the snacks. She slid the box of tapes in my direction, then turned on her heels and glided away. Okay, Kasey, you can do this. It's just watching a few tapes. Nothing hard about that. With a deep breath, I turned the TV and VCR on and inserted the first tape. Tape 1.
Who's there for you when people are mean?
Our friend Traci Halloween.
Who lends a hand when you're feeling unseen?
Our friend Traci Halloween.
She's so brave and oh so loyal. She'll turn your frown straight upside down. She's Traci, oh that clown. Here she comes, it's Traci Halloween. Hello, my spookies.
I settle in, opening a box of Sour Patch Kids as the camera pans to an audience made up of only children. Traci Halloween cartwheels into frame. She's dressed in a baggy red striped clown shirt and blue and green polka dot pants. Her smile was bright, touching each kid sitting in the audience. I couldn't help but smile back.
All right, my spookies. Are we ready for a frightening time?
Yes, Traci.
I watched as Traci began her routine. In the beginning, it was all fun and games with kids being picked from the audience for fun games. It was cute and reminded me of all the old shows I watched at that age. Each episode was short, most likely due to children's attention spans. Something I was grateful for. While I only had to watch 6 tapes, I wasn't sure how many times I could listen to nursery rhymes. Tape 3 was when things took a turn. The children greeted Traci the same as in the first 2 tapes, but was her shirt a tad dirty? Her makeup appeared cracked, flaking off with each smile. I brushed it off. Obviously, my eyes were already getting tired. In the first segment, Traci called for a volunteer from the audience. A little boy was picked and ran to the stage with excited glee. A large trunk was placed in the center of the stage. It was a magic trick, Traci explained. She instructed the boy to climb inside and she shut the lid. Rolling up her massive sleeves, Traci hovered over the trunk. An oppressive chant fell from her lips in a language I didn't understand. With a clap of her hand, Traci opened the trunk, revealing the boy had disappeared. The other children wooed and clapped, and I waited for the little boy to pop up in the audience somewhere. Or maybe he was backstage. But he never returned. Maybe he'd appear again at the end of this episode? The Sour Patch Kids in my stomach began to curdle, but my eyes never left the screen. No one on set seemed concerned. The act continued, Traci pulling 3 more children from the audience. Traci positioned the new volunteers on a rotating wheel. The kids giggle and hoot as they are strapped in, all the while my guts squirming with nauseated anticipation. Traci steps back, her eyes turning to the camera for a moment. I nearly fall out of my seat. Black pits stare at me before turning back to the volunteers. She can't see me, right? I don't get long to ponder on that question, as the kids begin to spin on their wheels. They laugh and squeal with delight, the sounds threatening to double me over. How can they be so happy? Traci pulls something from her pocket, then spins with a clumsy clown giggle, tickling her audience. Long darts are clutched in her hands. With a bow, Traci begins the act. She twirls, leaps, and bounces in front of the wheels, all the while throwing dart after dart at her moving targets. I cry out as one dart sinks above a girl's head, pinning one of her pigtails in place. Is she trying to hit them? Bile coats the inside of my cheeks at the realization. I scream at the TV for Traci to stop, but it's no use. A dart flies at a boy's chest and I scream. I refuse to look away. A millisecond before it pierces his chest, a smoke cloud detonates on stage, covering the wheels. I suck in a breath, my eyes scanning for movement or blood. As the smoke clears, I sag in relief, seeing none of the kids attached to the wheels. Just what the fuck is going on? Traci spins to the center of the stage and takes a bow. She waves at the children, then her gaze locks straight ahead. There's no denying it. She's looking right at me.
Only a few more episodes to go, my spookies. You don't want to miss what's next.
The screen goes black. I stare down at tape 4, but my hands don't reach for it. Can I watch more? I spin in my seat, glancing around the warehouse. Annalise is nowhere in sight. Taking in a deep breath, I reach for the tape with shaking fingers and slide it into the VCR. The tape whirls and clicks, an image springing to life on the screen. I'm glued to the spot as I watch Traci do her dance. Like a charmer enchanting his snake, Traci enthralls the children, selecting a handful from the audience to participate in more of her twisted games. She places them in boxes where they disappear and never come back. She swings them from pendulums while axes threaten to slice off their heads. She dances with fire all the way the children sing her praises. By tape 5, I'm ready to explode. I've begun to notice at the end of each tape a line of miniature dolls fill the front row of the audience. It's been growing in size, and for the life of me, I have no idea why they are there. I squint at the screen, pulling my chair closer. My eyes widen as the camera pans to the front row before Traci takes her leave. Each doll looks like one of her volunteers. But what were they made for? Tape 5 ejects from the VCR, and I hurry to put the last one in. I don't have time to think about the dolls anymore as the colorful sets spring to life on the screen.
Hello, all my spookies! I have a very special treat for you this episode. A very special friend of mine is going to join us today. Are you ready to meet her? Yes! Give an extra spooky welcome to my friend Kasey!
The roar of applause beats around me as she says my name. No. She can't mean...
Oh, Kasey, it's time for you to join us for the final act.
Her words don't fully register before white-gloved hands are pouring from the screen. Black, stringy hair falls out of the TV frame as Traci wiggles her body out of the TV.
Come on, Kasey. It's time to play.
I scream as Traci's hands wrap around my shoulders and drag me into the TV. I land in a heap on a hard floor. Bright lights pierce my vision, my hand raising to shield my eyes. All around me, children laugh and stomp their feet, the room finally coming into view. Oh, God, no. This can't be real.
Give a round of applause for Kasey, my spookies!
On shaking legs, I rise to my feet, taking in the recording set. This is impossible. What the fuck is going on? The children boo at my words. Traci tisking and shaking her head as she circles me like a predator ready to strike.
Oh, now, there is no need for such potty language. Foul mouths get wrung out with soap. Isn't that right, spookies? Besides, it really makes you taste quite bad.
Taste? Did she just... What are you?
Why, I'm Traci Halloween, a friend to all in their time of need. Now, be a good dear and get in the box, pretty please.
Traci's trunk wheels itself on stage and I take a step back. No way I'm getting in there.
Well now, that isn't very friendly of you. I need you to get in the box, Kasey, so you can join the others.
The others?
Yes! Don't you see all the good little boys and girls who listen to me?
Traci points at the dolls and I cringe.
My spookies really know how to satisfy a host's hunger.
Traci picks up one of the dolls and strokes his face like a proud parent. Before I can ask another question, Traci's mouth unhinges and snaps forward. Jagged teeth clamp down on the doll's head, snapping it from its body. Red yarn spurts from between the shoulders of the doll. The remaining children in the audience laughing and applauding the violent act.
Just the perfect treat. Everybody wants to be a Traci spooky treat, don't you, kids?
My stomach clenches, wanting to deposit its contents on the set floor. But I refuse. I am no one's tasty treat. I don't think. I just charge. I barrel into Traci, throwing her into the open trunk. If she can use it to turn the kids into doll-sized snacks, then I can use it to end her. Traci screams as the lid slams shut. I wait for her to spring from the box, but nothing happens. Cautiously, I open the lid to stare inside. Darkness greets me. I sag in relief. This nightmare over. It's time to get out of this nightmare. Around me, the children remain silent, their eyes fixed in place. I scramble around the stage looking for an exit, but find none. I shake the kids in the audience, but none of them respond. I try placing the dolls in the trunk, hoping they come back to life, but they're only swallowed up by the darkness. It's only on my third doll that I hear it, crying coming from inside the box. Is this a trick? When more small voices start calling for their moms and dads, I sag in relief. Maybe the box is a portal. With Traci gone, the kids can cross over. I place all the dolls in the trunk and climb inside. Darkness closes around me before dissipating, leaving me in the warehouse once more. Around me, children cry, begging to go home. I take their heads and lead them out of the warehouse. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but we can't stay here. As I usher them outside, praying the sedan can fit us all, I turn to take one last look at the warehouse. The TV is still on, fixed on the recording set. Slowly, the screen fades to black, and I turn satisfied that this nightmare is over. As I step into the cool night air, a voice tickles my ear and raises the hairs on the back of my neck.
I'll be seeing you soon, my spooky. This has been a Morbid Forest production, and on this week's episode you've heard Traci Halloween, written by Shawn Moreau and Destiny Pifer, with narration by Jessica Hart as Kasey, Glenda Villamar as Annalise, Story, River, and Buddy Alexander as our TV audience, and Naomi Richards as Traci Halloween. Story editing and audio production by Naomi Richards. Our theme music this season is The Shadows by Nandi Bushhill. Music and sound effects provided by Epidemic Sound. And don't forget, travelers, our brand new limited series, Inkwell Haven, is out now. The prologue and episodes 1 through 3 are out and waiting for you. So far, you visited the Clock Tower, the Auction House, and the Lighthouse. What other stops does Purga-Tours have in store for you? Make sure you check out our socials for clues on where the next stop will be and which podcast is hosting it. Follow us on X, or Twitter if you're old school, Instagram, Discord, Threads, and Tumblr. That's right, travelers, we just got a Tumblr account. Follow us on all of those socials to stay up to date on all the happenings within the forest. Interested in more morsels of the forest? Then join our Patreon. As a faithful traveler, you'll receive exclusive access to ad-free early episode releases and bonus content for only $3 a month. That's patreon.com/themorbidforest. Love what you're hearing? Then leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Reviews and ratings help us reach more travelers out there, just like you. And with that, we hope you're enjoying this extra spooky season. And we'll see you next time, travelers, on The Morbid Forest.